Leaders are made in the trench. You don't just become a leader. To be a leader, you need one absolute truth: people following you. You have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're going to get there, because people have to follow you to be a leader. And the best way to become a leader is by starting out at the bottom, becoming a leader out of the trench. It's not about I said this thing, it's about I've done this thing and here's what I learned from it.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com. Welcome back to the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Today, I have a special announcement to make. Trench Talk, the journey from being a laborer to a leader. This is a new series that I'm going to release, and I tell you what, it wasn't pretty. $9 an hour with a shovel in hand. That's the start. But how did I take a $9 an hour shovel value employee to becoming the person I am today, to wanting to make an impact of the masses, to really wanting to change the dynamic and narrative of what we do as a blue-collar workforce? $9 an hour, fresh out of high school. That was the 18-year-old me in eastern Ohio in the pit of hell in Ohio Valley for $9 an hour, shoveling, jackhammering rock, working my butt off as a laborer day to day, not making any progress whatsoever. And today, I own an 8-figure company. I have a media company. I'm doing a lot of different things today that I never would have thought possible. I'm looking at AI, implementing all kind of new technology, doing things so far outside of the realm of possible in 2007 that some of it didn't exist. And one thing is for certain, the person I am today did not exist. So I own my own world today. I am doing life by design. So from the ditch to design, my life is done by design today. I choose what I want to do. I make the impact the way that I want to. I do it on the time that I want to. I call it the 4 C's to free. We'll get into that later. It all started, though, $9 an hour. And I need everyone to hear this before you think anything else. I am not special. There is no special talent or gift that I have that you may be out there like, oh, yeah, he has this or that. I can assure you, I do not have that special thing. I did not get a free handout. I didn't have daddy hand me anything. I didn't win the lottery. There wasn't trust fund kid. This is just about showing up and doing what you need to do and understanding what path you need to go down to get there. I started with a shovel in a ditch, and now I'm trying to create significance in a life by design. So today, from labor to leader, what is this all about? I want to go around and I'm going to interview and talk to some of the best blue-collar success stories that I can find. I'm going to reach out. I've already done a couple, and it's going to be really impactful. Talking about how to swallow your pride. Don't worry about your ego. Soak information up like a sponge. From that to how do you create the opportunity that is going to change your life? How do you find the ability to visualize and then dream up this thing that's going to give you the chance to get out of the place you're at? I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, and others are going to tell you what they did. And hopefully you can follow one of them paths to get out of the place you are. So why? Here's the problem that nobody's really solving. We have a lot of people that are in the trench right now, looking up. They're in bad situations, bad environments. They're literally being in the trench unsafe because that's what they're forced to do or told to do. They have a foreman leaning on the truck or a foreman yelling at them, telling them what to do. And so how do you get yourself out of a hole like that? And a lot of us don't realize that we have to put down the shovel. We have to understand that life has to be a designed thing. If we want a life by design, we have to design it first. Getting clarity about what you want, where you're going to go, and how you actually get there. But first, it's clarity. How do you get clear about what you want? And a lot of people think it's really hard to believe is possible, but you just got to understand what you want, and then you got to go get it. And as simple as that sounds, it's not very easy. Nobody's going to hand you the map. Nobody's going to figure it out for you. So how do you actually figure it out? There's no classroom that you can go to and say, hey, I'm going to take this class, and it's going to tell me how to figure out what I want in life. I had to figure it out the hard way, and I hope you don't. 18-year-old me as a laborer, crew leader at 22. It didn't take long. And the first couple of years, we're not going very far. And at 22, I've been leading men in the ditch, and they have been doing this longer than I've been alive. Constantly told that exact narrative. At 30 years old in 2019, I sat down, me and my business partner, Cody, locked down the purchase of R&R Pipeline. So from the kid at 2007 going nowhere, and then 2 years later, still going nowhere. 2 years after that, I become a foreman. And then I set out this grand vision of buying the company by the time I'm 30. Now, it was a short amount of time. Not everyone does it that quickly, and some do it way faster. But this series is that roadmap that I had built and displayed for myself to get there. So every hard lesson, every scar, every truth about the trench and how beat up it's going to be along the way and how hard it actually is, it's all going to be compiled together and get insight from others that had the same journey. A lot of us have a similar path, and I guarantee you one thing, it is the hard road. So what's coming up? The structure. Here's how it was built. And I like to keep everything as simple as possible because at the end of the day, simple scales and complex fails. And there's 15 truths. There's going to be 3 parts, episodes, about 20, 30 minutes. I'm going to have feedback from other people, talk to them about their journey. And it's all going to be about that trench talk, being in the trench. I'm in the trench with you doing this right now, this new business, this new venture I'm doing. I'm in the trench also. But how do you, in the actual physical trench, how do you get out of that trench if that's what you want? And so you got to understand that it all starts on the ground. What you control before anyone gives you anything. When you first start out, what is the thing you can actually do? You can be a sponge. Instead of being egotistical, showing up and telling people how great you are when you're not, you get there and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. Be quiet and learn. Earning a voice before you try to use it is never going to work out. So it starts on the ground and then you start to climb. So how do you get out of the ditch? You got to climb out. Well, how do you do that? How do you become the person that someone trusts? Working the way that you should, value led when nobody's watching, owning up to all the mistakes that you make. And instead of burying them, you do the right thing at the right time and make sure that you put that on display. You lift the crew up instead of putting other people down. When you do something as a leader, you don't just take credit, you give credit. You don't take it all, you give it all. You take the blame and lead by example. And then you got to, as a leader, what do you do when no one's watching? What do you do when it's your call and you have to make the way? You have to be pressure tested, making decisions that nobody else will. How well are you with your paycheck? Or better said, well are you with your paperwork? Your paperwork becomes your paycheck. Communication, documentation, the 2 things that win at every business. If you can do them at 80%, both of them, you are really kicking ass. So how do you get communication, documentation in play? The 2 most important singular things I can think of coming together, communication, documentation. You need a track record to show what you have said, and it will always help you win. How do you teach? Or better yet, TNT, you teach, you don't tell. How do you create a replacement for yourself so you can take the next step? Passing the torch to the next person that will fill the void that you create when you advance. If you cannot create a replacement for you in the current position that you're in, how do you expect to go to the next spot and leave a void? Most of the time you can't. So replace yourself. It's so vital that you do that exact thing. You replace your current state today, build someone else up, carry them along so you can take the next spot. And I'm not doing this alone. This isn't just my story. This is a lot of other people. People from multi-billion-dollar operations, people from coal mining, all kind of different blue-collar workforce that I want to get on here and talk about this exact thing. Because I can think about when I walked through the ego part, when I had to face my ego, it wasn't very good. It was really poor. I was very egotistical. I was very cocky and arrogant. And I won't even say confident because I didn't know a damn thing. So learn from my mistake. Learn from the others that are going to present themselves and their mistakes. So whenever reaching out, talking to these people, the stories are all very similar. This isn't just my story. It's the story of a lot of us. The same climb, getting out of the ditch, down to the ground, figuring out what the thing is. So who is this really for? Who is the audience that I'm really trying to reach? For one, it's the people that are in the trench right now and you're struggling. Your check barely stretches to pay your bills. Your body hurts. You can't see a way out. You feel like you're being buried and you keep digging a deeper hole. This series is proof that the ceiling that you see up there is imaginary. And this isn't about motivation. This isn't about some feel good shit. This is about knowing how to get out of the hole that you're in, putting down the shovel to get the things started that you want, creating a life that you actually want to have. And I will tell you this, you got to have a target because any road will get you nowhere. And if you don't have a target, any road will get you there also. You must have a target to hit or you'll never hit it. Second type of person, if you're a leader now and you lead people, but you're drowning, so maybe you're a foreman, a superintendent, maybe you own a company. These episodes are also built for you, sitting on the tailgate, playing one thing at the shift meeting, using coach notes with your crew, talking about toolbox talks, trench talks, a culture shift. How do you take this thing and create something that you can relate to your team? You cannot fix problems if you don't know how to address the problems, how to simplify them. So this is for anyone that's out there as a leader. And the third person is the one that's just starting out. Maybe you're fresh out of high school. Maybe you're still in high school. Maybe you just need to see something in life because you don't know what you want. You're wondering whether or not to go to college, whether to stay in school. I can tell you what, regardless of what your final decision is, I can promise you one thing. The best decision I ever made was going to making money for a couple of years instead of spending it going to college. Now, I never went to college, but that decision alone gave me the path I needed because the truth of the matter is going and making money is the first thing you really need to figure out as a high school person coming out. Are you able to go apply yourself, to dedicate yourself to something that turns value enhancement into revenue for yourself, into money for yourself? How do you create value in the marketplace? It's a very hard knocks lesson to learn. And I can promise you, it's not as simple as what you think. Leaders are made in the trench. You don't just become a leader. To be a leader, you need one absolute truth, people following you. So to lead, you have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're going to get there because people have to follow you to be a leader. And the best way to become a leader is by starting out at the bottom, becoming a leader out of the trench. It's not about I said this thing, it's about I've done this thing and here's what I learned from it. If you do the work, if you put in the work will return itself and do its work on you. That is where the growth happens. That's where you go from that ditch line to life by design. Episode 1 will be coming out soon, and it starts by being a sponge. Being a sponge, what does that mean? And I can tell you that it starts out with a story of me being the person that I used to be, very egotistical. I'm better than everyone. I know my shit. You can't stop me until I prove myself that I'm not that person that everyone else already said they knew. So I had to sit back and wait. Why am I talking? And listen, evolve from that. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of a learning lesson whenever you're put down, when you're not getting your desired outcome. That's why one of my core values is win or learn. But I used to accept the loss for a long time until I started learning from it. So instead of speaking out, I wouldn't speak out. I would download it, information, get rid of the ego, download it like a sponge, soak it all in. So episode 1 will be coming out soon. This is the introduction for Trench Talk, Labor to Leader. I'm super excited about this. Cannot wait to get it released. And until next time, design your life. From the ditch to design, Iron Infrastructure Podcast, we're out.